What's going on, guys? Jake Adams from Reef Builders here, and I'm back at you with another really fun and exciting video. I had an absolute blast last week in Orlando for Reefapalooza. There were so many corals to see. It's one of those rare times I don't think I had enough opportunity to check out all the corals. But when you do spend a lot of time checking out the corals that are available on the market, especially at a coral-heavy place like Reefapalooza, you get a feel for some of the exciting new corals that are being imported from all over the world, that people are focusing on propagating, and that people are really interested in picking up for themselves. So I definitely saw kind of a pattern in some of the corals that were available at Reefapalooza last weekend, but I really wanted to put together kind of a wrap-up video to highlight 5 groups of corals that were really high level at Reefapalooza in Orlando. So this is the kind of video that's really fun to make. This is a bunch of juicy eye candy with a little bit of ad lib. Enjoy the corals in this video. Definitely let me know if you're into some of these corals that I mentioned, and if there's a group of corals that you think was better represented than these 5 at Reefapalooza. Definitely let me know in the comments down below, because I really want to hear what you guys think about the hot new corals right now and the corals you picked up at Reefapalooza. Let's take a look at the top 5 corals of Reefapalooza in Orlando. I've said it before and I'll say it again, American style reef shows are just the ultimate spread and smorgasbord of incredibly colored corals in every single species and every morph. And every year that I think we've reached peak coral, I go to more reef shows, Reefstock, Reefapalooza, and others, and I'm continually blown away by how much the quality of the corals continues to improve. The prices generally tend to stabilize for corals that are initially fads and then become more widely available. And over time, it's just the reef scenes become so sophisticated that even these discs of gorgeous colored zoanthids were going for only $30 a piece. Just absolutely mind-blowing corals to see. And but in all of the selection of corals, there's definitely a pattern that emerges on a periodic basis of certain groups of corals that come in waves, whether they've been popular before and have fallen out of fashion, or they haven't been available, or whether it's just a really strong trend, as with the bounce mushrooms right now. So without further ado, and in no particular order, here are the top 5 groups of corals that really caught my attention at Reefapalooza. I hope you enjoyed, because I definitely did. Far and away, the biggest splash at Reefapalooza was a reappearance of a bunch of Philia wilsoni. Now, these were formerly called Philia wilsoni, but in the last year, they have been re-described to basically be part of their own genus. And when you look at them pretty closely, you realize that these guys are not like an acand, they're not like a lord, they're not like a Philia either, so they definitely have their own thing going on. And this has always been one of my super duper favorite corals. And there's a lot of reasons for that. I was actually able to write a complete article just on this one species. It is so interesting. This is one of the only corals that we get that only comes from the Indian Ocean. Now, if you take a minute to think about that, all of our corals come from the Indo-Pacific, they come from the Pacific Ocean, they come from Australia, but Philia wilsoni, or just wilsoni corals, are the only ones that only come from the Indian Ocean, and they are also one of the few corals that is regularly found living alongside kelp. So there's a lot of reasons why this coral is interesting, not the least of which is that it has a very unique pattern, but the colors are also super incredible. They really remind us of some of the best colored Micromusa lord corals, And unfortunately, these corals have been out of the hobby for a little while, just kind of really rare. So this big wave definitely came with a big sticker price for all these fancy new Wilsoni corals. But either way, it's really nice to see them and know that here in the near future, we should be able to see a lot more of these colonies at reasonable and affordable prices. If you needed any indication that the shroom craze is in full swing, all you had to do was take one look at the giant spreads of Rhodactis, Discosoma, Recordia, and all the different types of coralomorphs that were available at Reefapalooza. You know, I thought the shroom craze would go, pretty much just towards the bounce mushroom, but there's definitely been a spillover effect where people have gotten very, very excited about all the different strains of coralomorphs, Discosoma, Recordia, Rhodactis, and we're seeing more and more crazy polyps than I ever thought possible. Best of all is that some of these shrooms have turned out to be really good growers, and certain vendors have been able to bring out more than just a couple polyps, so they're going for fair prices. Here's a wild Rhodactis that I sighted towards the end of Sunday, and although it doesn't have the crazy vesicles, it really caught my attention from the corner of my eye because it had this gorgeous fluorescent orange color just all over it. And I have to wonder if a little bit more time spent under aquarium conditions would develop those crazy vesicles, but whoever took this home, they'll be the one to know. Now, Recordias have always been hot, but I do believe that because of this extra attention placed with a focus on coralomorphs, we're seeing more beautiful and crazy Recordias than we ever have before. Here's two different clips of Recordia, very similar to one that I took home. Along similar lines as the coralomorphs are an incredible crop of flower anemones. Now, these guys have been hot for the last several years, and every show you see more colors and more color combinations. But this show, man, really brought the hardcore flower anemone game. And this is a good opportunity to remind people, these are not rock anemones. Aptasia is a rock anemone, okay? So stop calling these rock anemones, they're flower anemones, end of story. But at this show, we had some really spectacular specimens. I grabbed a few myself, and I was particularly impressed with the specimens of flower anemones from Belize. It's hard to describe what it is about the Belizean flower anemones that was so incredible. This is a specimen right here. Their colors were just so profound. They had more of like a rainbow shade, and they were also really juicy. And this was one of the strange criticisms about this particular anemone, is that they're so flowery and so bushy that their tentacles sometimes obscure the oral disc itself. But nevertheless, I'm really glad to see some very beautiful flower anemones, especially a new crop from Belize. Now, who would have thought that myself or anyone would be impressed by Trachyphilias in 2017, but that's exactly what happened at Reefapalooza. There's just this incredible crop of Trachyphilias, a lot of rainbow colors. Thankfully, they weren't carrying that super duper premium that the rainbow Indonesian Trackies carry, but if you wanted something a little bit more special, there were some large, absolutely showy, juicy colonies of Trachyphilia that were actually from Australia this time. So we definitely don't usually look towards Australia for really beautiful, impressive, high-quality Trachyphilias, but there was definitely a special effort made to collect basically what I call two-handed colonies of Trachyphilia. And these range from just solidly beautiful green specimens with a little bit of a gold edge to fully rainbow colored specimens. And interestingly, these were shown off mostly by some of the wholesalers, including Eye Catching Corals and ACI. These companies know how to invest in quality corals, and I just want to thank them for taking the time to bring corals to Reefapalooza that they know that they probably wouldn't sell, but they definitely got a lot of oohs and ahs by bringing them. So yeah, Trachyphilia was another really cool coral to see at Reefapalooza. Finally, I'm going to split the last group of hot corals between two kind of obscure groups. These include Philia, a very close relative of Cyanarina that we're very well familiar with, as well as these button scalemias. Now, for all we know, these are actually not scalemias. They are very closely related probably to the Micromusa pacifica that was long called Acam maxima from the Indo-Pacific, but these are only known from northwestern Australia. And as you can see, there was a veritable rainbows of these button scalemias to be enjoyed. This is one of my corals, one of my kind of my pet favorite corals. And again, it was really cool to see such a huge diversity of colors, from reds, oranges, green, and then one really takeaway winner with all kinds of rainbow colors. So I hope you guys enjoyed this new style of video, basically the highlight reel of some of the coolest stuff that I saw at Reefapalooza. You'll definitely want to subscribe because I got 2 highlight reels coming out very soon on my Australia adventures. One's just going to be on coral, the other one just on fish. And I've really been saving up a lot of eye candy for that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button and share it with somebody you know. And let me know in the comments below what you liked about this video and what you want to see more of. So until next time, I will catch you guys on the next episode.